Hey, welcome Team Trench to the first week of in-season protocol. Really excited to be able to kick this thing off. I want to thank all of you that were able to make it out to our meeting on Friday. I know it's been crazy. I know everybody's got schedules all over the place. Believe me, as you can see, we're in the lab here, which is my office. This is pretty much what I've been working on for the last 2 weeks, just trying to make sure I get everyone's schedule together and I know where every single player is, what every single player is doing, where they're looking to go between obviously managing and scheduling their in-season therapy, their post-season, their post-game, or I'm sorry, their in-season pre-game treatment, their post-game recovery and lift, their Sunday training, field work, and yoga, as well as getting in all the one-on-ones for position work. I mean, that's one of the biggest things is typically this time of year, we actually end up signing up more kids for one-on-one sessions than any other time of the year because we can actually sit there and break down their technique during the season. They can come to us as coaches, tell us what they're struggling with, what they might need help with. And then one thing I do for a lot of my defensive linemen and for anyone, my defensive linemen and outside linebackers is we'll actually break down film study with these guys. I know Coach Ray does that with all of his offensive linemen. Coach Lamarck does it with all the receivers. And we'll have Coach Juice doing it with and Coach Stubbs, who's going to be coming back. We'll be doing it with our DBs, right? Coach Jimmy's going to be working with our tight ends, and of course myself and Coach Antron and Coach Bobby will be working with all the D-line and outside linebackers. But one thing we actually do is we will help these athletes break down their film on their games, right? Correcting them, what they need to work on, what they did well, what we need to continue to get better at. What are some things that we can do and go over some techniques with them that they can do to help execute and make them better at practice and better in the games. And one thing we also do, which I'm a big fan of, I actually do this this year I've got about 15 NFL clients that I'm doing this with week to week, and I'm actually doing it mobily. So this is things that the player doesn't actually have to come to the facility for. We can do it online. We can do it via FaceTime, through Huddle, and all those other avenues of technology. But I actually break down a scouting report, and I will build a scouting report based upon the opponent they're going to play. Not the same scouting report they're going to get from their coach at high school. A detailed scouting report that's about that opponent, not that team, that individual that he's gonna be going against every single snap, finding weaknesses in this person's technique, finding tendencies that they might not see, really helping them understand football is a game of 11 one-on-one matchups, and the team that's going to win is the team that their players win more matchups than the other team. It's that simple. So we want to make sure that our players, obviously we hope they have great seasons. We hope that they win a lot of games and they win championships. That's always the best part of football. But at the same time, what we are concerned with as trench coaches here is their individual performance and their individual development so that one day we can get them to the point to where they can go all the way to the next level, right? That being said, I know a lot of people still have some questions about in-season, what's going on. We've been trying to communicate as much as possible, but I understand life is crazy. You got other kids, you got other things going on. So wanted to go ahead and make this video. We did video the actual meeting. Actual meeting ended up being an hour and 15 minutes. Let's be honest, if I put out an hour and 15 minute video, nobody's gonna watch it. So wanted to kind of break it down, tell you guys a little bit about what we're doing. And obviously you guys will get this video in an email with the schedule, with the final roster, and then also there will be this attachment, which is the PowerPoint that we went over in our meeting that has all the details of the different things that we're offering, right, for in-season protocol, right? So let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff, right? Obviously, this is one of the most important times of the year, right? 90% of training facilities, when their athletes go in season, they just say, all right, bye, see you later, and see you next season or next off season, hopefully, right? This is the time we need to be taking care of our bodies the most. We've got to get our bodies back. The whole fight every single week is how do we get your son back to 100% every single week after week after week. And let's be honest, we're never going to play at 100%. But if we can get him back to 90% and he's just playing through a little bit of hurt rather than having to actually play through injury or having those small, minute injuries that end up compounding into bigger injuries that keep them out over the course of the games, That's what we've got to be able to combat. And I'm telling you, over 80% of injuries that happen that cause a player to miss just 1 or 2 games are preventable through proper training, proper rehab, and proper recovery protocol. And that's what we're providing here. We say it all the time, the hardest part about any program, right, either it's in season or off season, the hardest part is just getting here. All you have to do is get them here. We will take care of the rest, and make sure you get them here on time, right? But that being said, I'm going to go over real quickly what this breakdown looks like and everything that we have going on. As you can see in the yellow, in the orange here, we have our JV roster. In the purple, we have our youth roster. And in the yellow, see all those yellow names, those are all of our varsity players, right? So as you can see, it seems crazy that we're gonna get through basically 52 kids in one night and get everyone treatment. If we follow the protocol to a T, we're gonna be able to get every single player in. They're gonna get every single treatment modality. They're gonna be completely taken care of, and there's gonna be 0 lag time. We're gonna get them in and out in less than an hour and 15 minutes. I can promise you that. But it's so important that the time that's on the roster that I send out today, we are starting their group at that time. So if their time is 5:15, that means the first person is going in cryotherapy at 5:15, right? If your time is 5:15 and you show up at 5:20, I'm sorry, but we have to push you to the back, right? Because even though you were only 5 minutes late, that 5 minutes is going to turn into a 10-minute delay for the second group, right? And then a 30-minute delay for the third group, and then 40-minute delay, and then finally we're going to end up being backed out the door and have this log jam, and we want to be able to completely prevent that. But you guys know that. I know we're going to do a great job with that. We're going to do a great job with that. So what we're going to make sure we got to do is, and obviously if something crazy is going on, if your practice got held late and there's nothing you can do about, all you need to do, call me, all right, so we can be a little bit more prepared. We'll make moves on the fly. You guys have been with me long enough to know that just about anything that these players need, we will find a way to accommodate, right? Not promising that we can go outside the realm all the time, but you guys know one of the reasons why we keep this program a little bit smaller. I don't try to get 600 kids in this program. I like to keep it small. We have a waiting list on the program right now, and these are the kids we want. These are the kids we're going to take care of. These are the kids that have been committed to us, so we're going to obviously commit to them. That being said, we'll kind of go into a little bit of what the pregame protocol looks like. The first thing is obviously understanding the most important part about in-season altogether, right, would be the training, right? The training basically outlines us that we're going to continue to keep our muscle. We're not going to lose all of our weight. We're going to keep our power. We're going to keep our speed. We're going to keep our mobility. We're going to keep our stability and structure. Those are the things that are going to prevent injury the most. We can go out and get massages all day long. We can get ice bath, cryo chamber, all that stuff, which is the stuff that makes our body feel great, and we want your body to feel great. But at the end of the day, if you allow yourself to quit lifting in season, you quit squatting, you quit deadlifting, you quit power cleaning, you quit bench pressing, if you decide to make those decisions to get away from those things, which is what built your body up in the first place, you are setting yourself up for complete and total failure. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, I'm just letting you know. We know that it takes 6 to 8 days of consistent resistance training for the body to actually break down and rebuild new muscle. It only takes 6 to 8 weeks of consistent training for the body to actually break down and rebuild new muscle. And it only takes 8 days of not lifting for that muscle being into atrophy. So just think about that. What you built in 8 weeks, you can begin to lose in 8 days. And if you don't believe me, try it out, right? I don't want you to, but if you decide to go that route, you'll notice by the time you get into week 4 or week 5, you'll be a shelf of what you once were when the season started. And the bottom line is we need to be getting stronger. We need to be getting better. We need to be getting more conditioned, building more muscle endurance, building more mobility, more strength, more power, all through the course of the season. Because at the end of the season, that's when the games mean the most. Not only for players that are that are in playoffs and working their way to winning a state championship or a district championship. It's also the most important part for my upperclassmen, because you guys know that's when the scouts are out. Week 7, week 8, week 9 of the season is when the majority of player personnel, guys and recruiting coordinators are on the road recruiting athletes, is those games at the latter end of the season. They want to see your film from the first games of the season to see if they're interested in coming down. If they like you and they want to visit you, the first thing they're going to do is before that game, they're going to invite you in. They want to look at your body. We want to be able to pass that look test. If all of a sudden you're saying that you're 240 pounds in the team program, and then they see you and you've lost 30 pounds of muscle throughout the course of the season, they're going to go back to that coach and be like, this kid is not 240, he's 210, right? This is not the player we thought he was, right? And that's going to be the first impression you're going to have of these potential college recruiters. We can't allow those kind of things to happen. So we obviously know what can happen. Now we got to be able to talk about what we got to do to prevent those situations, right? That being said, when we go into our end season, we're going to be able to train at least 2 days a week of full lift. We'll be doing a little bit of field work, but the field work will always be low impact stuff. It's more about creating blood flow and actually extending mobility and keeping that fast twitch muscle. It's not about conditioning. It's not about wearing these guys out. We're going to make sure that we don't put them in any kind of risk to tweak a muscle or anything like that on the field. We're going to be taking care of the bodies quite a bit. So, but they'll get 2 days a week of full body lift. They'll be in-season style lifts, but at the same time, we will be pushing weight. We will make sure that we keep up our strength, and then they'll get 1 day a week that is dedicated completely to recovery and therapy the night before their game. The way that's going to work is we've got a really, really cool system, and we've got a bunch of brand new things that a lot of you guys have never experienced before, and some of you guys have never even seen before. We even have things coming in that I personally have never done before. I've done a ton of research on it. I'm super excited to get it in here. I'm super excited to use it, and ultimately the things that we're going to be offering, about 90% of Division I schools and NFL organizations do not have access to this stuff. They can go somewhere else outside of their organization and get access to this, but we have it all here for you in one house. The first thing that we're going to be doing, and if you want to follow along, you can follow along with that PowerPoint. First thing that you're going to get when you come in, cryotherapy, right? Cryotherapy, you guys can read in this. It tells you all about the benefits of cryotherapy, what it does for your body, how it helps athletes recover, all the great resources of that. Most of you guys just know it as, the time machine looking thing that basically gets really, really cold. That's what it is, right? So we're basically going to get you down, that thing get down to about negative 200 degrees. We usually get it down to about negative 150 with all of our athletes in there, keep them in there for about 2 to 3 minutes, all right? And basically all it does is it allows the body to heal, has been known to increase red blood cell count, pushes inflammation and lactic acid out of the body. So that'll be actually one of the first things these guys do once they get done with their foam rolling sequence. They'll come in, they'll do foam roll, then they'll go right into cryotherapy. Then they're going to do something else after that. I'm going to save that till last because that's the new thing. Once they get done with that, they're going to go into the Normatex, right? Normatec compression treatment. Once again, this is going to manually push inflammation and lactic acid out of the body through blood flow restriction protocol. I know a lot of you guys have heard about blood flow restriction training and things like that, things that are used to build muscle, right? But this is actually something we can do to rehab. These are the boots that fill up with air, right? We don't just have the boots, we also have the hips that cover the lower back, and we have the shoulders. So if somebody comes in, they've had an AC sprain or anything like that that's bothering them, they want to hit their shoulders, this is phenomenal for taking that pain, that inflammation, that uncomfortable out of that body, right, before the night before the game. The rule that we're trying to follow is that if you're on varsity and you're playing Friday night, we can't be feeling Wednesday's practice at Friday night's game. We've got to be recovered. Vice versa, once we get after Friday night's game, Saturday and Sunday, all about training and recovery again, which we'll talk about a little bit more, but that's when we're going to be able to do lift, that's when we're going to get some field work in, that's when we're going to get yoga, and then they're still going to get recovery. But on top of that, those are the things that we're really looking for and that we're pushing to make sure that they also don't feel Friday night's game at next Monday's practice. Once again, we've got to learn how to reset the body. As soon as we get to Thursday or as soon as we get to the night before the game, the entire purpose is a reset on how do I get my body back underneath me, right? So the Normatec's are gonna help out with that huge. The next thing we're gonna do, obviously we've got the Theraguns, right? We've got 2 Hypervolts right now at the facility. I've ordered 5 more, so we'll actually have 7 of them, and we'll have each one of them set up at a table. We actually will have 8 tables this year. So we'll have 8 tables lined up. There'll be different stations, different sections, and we'll be having different therapists do different things on each table to make sure that once again we get these guys through and we get them all the treatment necessary between chiropractic adjustment, active release therapy, assisted stretch. We're even going to be doing, well, I'll go ahead and talk about it now. We're going to be doing complex stem, ultrasound, all those types of things that are going to allow the body to heal. And the thing is we want to be able to offer this consistently. So we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, but we want to be able to offer even other days out of the week that y'all typically don't come in, where we'll have these open therapy times to where these guys, even if it's a late night after practice and they want to come over here and get their body worked on by one of the therapists, we can set that up. Next one. We'll go ahead and talk about the things we've had before in the past. Of course, we're going to have yoga, right? This year, I'm actually going to have Miss Barbara up at the facility for pregame treatment as well. She's going to, when she comes in for pregame treatment, she's actually going to put all these guys through a quick yoga salutation, which is pretty much a dynamic warm-up to help these guys get loose. It's going to get a little bit of a sweat going, but I know everybody has mixed emotions about yoga because Barbara's yoga is hard, and she kills you out there, and she's kind of like a boot camp instructor. This is not going to be that style. This is going to be a very good stretch for your body, but we have got to be able to elongate those muscle fibers and stretch out those muscle fibers right before you go to sleep, the night before the game, so you don't wake up in the morning feeling all rocked up and stiff. If you've been hitting and your neck is really stiff, your lower back is really stiff, your hamstrings are really stiff, and you take that into the game, you are asking for a pull or asking for a tear. We've got to be able to reset the body from that, right? Then, this is a new thing we're going to have this year. We're actually going to be able to do this immediately following cryotherapy. Our guys are going to be able to go into this, which is the infrared sauna. So yes, we are buying a sauna machine. We will have it back in the trench in our recovery area back there. We're moving a bunch of things around as we speak to make way for this. It can fit in 2 guys at a time. We go in there for about 10 to 12 minutes. It gets up to about 130 degrees, which is a little bit cooler than a regular sauna, but the idea isn't to get that rapid sweat. This actually works off of infrared light, not just a heat lamp like a regular sauna would. The infrared light works more like a microwave, where it actually sends the cells bouncing back and forth off each other, and it actually heats the body up that way, and that's what creates the actual heat in there. The coolest part about it is you're getting all the benefits of basically heat treatment without all the humidity that you get that can mess with a lot of people's upper respiratory stuff. It's a lot healthier, a lot cleaner than a regular sauna, and it is absolutely phenomenal for the healing of the body. It says right here, infrared heat can greatly benefit the sore, damaged, and tired muscles of an athlete. The heat penetrates the muscles, increasing blood circulation and assisting muscle repair. Infrared heat will also help in the reduction of lactic acids, allowing tight and worn out muscles to relax. The penetrating heat of infrared sauna can also help ease the pain of a muscle sprain after administration or a cold compression. Which is the reason why we're going to go into the cryotherapy, and essentially I'm going to drop you in an environment that's negative 150 degrees. As soon as you get out of that negative 150 degrees, you're going to jump an environment that is 125 degrees or 130 degrees. So the vast temperature differences is just going to have your blood and your blood flow and circulation going crazy, and it's going to completely detox the body. Lactic acid sitting in sore muscles, if you don't get that out of your body, it actually becomes toxic, which leads, once again, not only to injury, but also illness. This is another thing we're going to have. We kind of hit on that. Everybody will have access to the complexes. These are electrode stem complexes. We will have these at every single table. Every single athlete will get this, and they'll be administered by our physical therapist, who will ask the athlete, what do they have going on with their body? What's impaired right now? What are they really struggling with? And that's what we're going to be able to set up for these guys. We're really, really excited about that process. These things are incredible. I use these actually when I played. They even have pre-game settings for them to where they actually help the guys out pre-game. We're going to be doing the recovery and the pain management settings for these guys, but they are phenomenal tools. It's not like a regular electrode stim machine. It's much more powerful and it's much more deliberate in getting directly into the muscle and pushing that pain out of the muscle, whether you have a sprain or an ache or pain, or honestly, even if your legs are just dead. So then finally, this is actually probably the coolest part, most exciting part. I know one thing that had a lot of people really excited about the meeting. You guys know in the past, we've always had specialists come in, whether that be Barbara for yoga or whether it be Dr. Joe for chiropractic care, or Mike to come in and do ART. This year, we will actually have full medical and therapy staff. So what that means is that for every single group, we'll have Derek and Mitch. And I know some of you guys know Derek and Mitch from our old facility. Mitch has actually completed his doctorate now, so he is a doctor. So we will be having these guys in. They'll be working on each individual athlete. Not only will they be doing things like chiropractic adjustment and ART, but they'll actually be able to, they're certified to actually treat injury and prevent injury. So what they can do is the athlete can actually come to them, hey, this has been bothering me, that's been bothering me, and they're certified to actually give a real diagnosis. You have to actually be certified. You actually have got to go to school. You've got to complete your doctorate to actually be certified or qualified to give a diagnosis. A lot of you guys will ask me all the time, hey, so-and-so tweaked his hamstring, hey, so-and-so, hurt his shoulder, and then, y'all ask me what it is, and the first thing I always say is, well, I can't legally diagnose because I'm not a doctor, but at the same time, I've been around training and I've played enough sports myself and I've had plenty of injuries myself that a lot of times I can become very close on what it is, but these guys will make it official. They will be able to officially treat you, and then they'll have all the treatment modalities that they have with them that you would have at some of the best physical therapy clinics in the country. We will have them right here, and these guys will be able to work on them every single night. Another cool part about that is they're going to be opening up dates or times post-game where if you do something on Friday night and you hurt yourself and you have to come out of the game, and let's say you go back in, but at the end of the day it's really bothering you, and on Saturday you're like, man, there's no way I can go in and lift and do this, fine. If you're that injured and you can't lift and can't train, but you still need to get in to see one of these guys, because we need to be able to assess and diagnose that injury and get on it right away. We can't wait to see how it feels Monday, right? Because practice is Monday. You're already prepping for another team on Monday. We got to take care of that injury right now. This is something we've never had before, and I'll be honest with you, I've never even heard of any facility having this before, to where your son can actually get access to docs and physical therapists basically at your luxury, right? Now, obviously, we'll have to set up times with that, but at the same time, we're committed to trying to get him in to see somebody within 24 hours of the injury, right? So that's a really, really exciting part. There's a lot of moving parts. Please check and read everything in the email so you guys know exactly what we're going to be doing. But I can tell you, I definitely still need some more information from some of you guys. The number one thing I need all these athletes' cell phone numbers. I know a lot of you guys have sent them to me, and I really appreciate it, but if you have not sent me your son's cell number, you need to send that to me, because parents, I understand that you've got a lot going on in your life outside of Trench, and it doesn't need to be your responsibility to know where your child is supposed to be or where these athletes are supposed to be in at which time. And I appreciate the involvement that all you guys have, and understand I love the parents being involved. I love it when you guys come here. I love it when you guys watch. I love it when you guys come up to me and talk to me and ask questions. It's my favorite part of the job, honestly. I love dealing with parents, because I love dealing with people that are passionate about what we do. But it's not your responsibility to know where your kid is supposed to be. It's their responsibility. They want to play in college. They want to play at this next level. They've got to start being a little bit more responsible. Not saying they haven't been. I'm just saying we need to put that responsibility in their hands. So a lot of the communication that I'll have going forward will actually be directly to them. One thing we're also going to do is we're going to break down all these athletes into different teams. And that team is going to be assigned a coach, and that coach is going to be like the everyday mentor for that athlete. So if they need to know, if they've got questions about, the coach is getting on to me and I don't feel like coach likes me and whatever's going on, we'll be able to talk to them. Hey, here's some advice on like what you can do in that situation. If you've got, hey, I'm playing some 5-star kid this week and he's really, really good. Would you help me? We're going to help you with that. We want to be able to just be an ear to listen to these kids and anything that they might be going through, so we can just, once again, just expand upon hopefully impacting their lives and impacting their careers in this. And that's really what we want to do. This video probably still went too long, but I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to tone it down. There's just so much information. But I hope you guys get this. I hope you have 20 minutes or so to actually sit and watch this video and check out everything that we've got going on. But if not, please just read the email. Very, very important that you guys know where they're supposed to be, where they're supposed to go. Saturdays and Sundays, we've got new times on there because we're going to be definitely breaking these groups down. We'll have 4 different training options on Saturday, 4 different training options on Sunday. Help fit you guys' schedule a little bit more, make it a little bit more convenient, and most importantly, make sure that our groups don't get overcrowded so we can always deliver a phenomenal product. It doesn't matter how many kids we get. We always care about one individual athlete at a time and impacting that one, and we can't leave any of them behind, right? So that being said, once again, guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being a part of this program. We are so excited about going into this year and everything that we got going on, and there's already been wagers started about this season, right? So made a bet with Griffin Wiltsey. If Steinbrenner wins the district, I've got to shave my beard. So it's on. There's going to be a lot more things coming, all right? So make sure you stay with it, and thank you guys so much, and let's kill it this season. Nasty Dog, baby.